Welcome to Bahati, talking about real issues that are affecting you as an individual. Insights about financial and personal growth, plus better relationships. And now, Bahati.
I want us to be very engaging in this, and I want you to be able to tell me what has lack of consistency kept you from, or what has it hindered you from. Do we even understand the word consistent?
It's doing something continually or over and over again.
Doing something continuously over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, we'll speak some American English. The things that are going to make us successful, I think we've said this so many times, are not the simple things. And let me tell you, it can be a simple thing, but because you're a procrastinator, you end up making it hard. Okay? Just like being consistent, it would have been a simple thing, right? As in, every one of us would have said, you know what, just like I am consistent at eating, why isn't it hard for us to be consistent at eating? Do you know that it can be so hard for you to do something that you know will bring in money, and it's so hard for you to do it? Oh, you do it this week, and next week you just don't show up for it? And then you do it the other week and the other week, and then there is a way we camouflage and hide, especially if we work with other people. It's so easy to hide in open space. You come around, say hi to people, talk about politics, talk about so many other things. There is a report for you to write, right? And you end up opening your laptop and going to other apps. Meanwhile, your brain tells you, you first open a Word document. You open a Word document. Now, I am dealing with procrastinators and those that are inconsistent. You open the Word document. And then when you open the Word document, your mind tells you, you put a heading. You put a heading. After putting a heading, that is when you're like, what did this person post on Instagram? And then you open another window. There you are done. You go to Instagram, the next thing you will go to Facebook, the next thing, as in it will loop itself, and then someone else will come and bring some conversation, you know, and then it will be lunchtime. And then we never forget, because if we disciplined ourselves and we are like, I have not finished that document, I am not eating until I finish that document. But this is what you say, immediately after lunch, I am coming back to only that. You go back, you go out for lunch. Instead of 1 hour, you prolong it to 1 hour, 40 minutes. And then you come back. The food, you're like, what is it called? Timber, these snakes. A heavy snake. You have eaten, you're all dragging. You all don't feel like doing anything. And there's a way you just feel like everyone will understand, you know? It's understandable. You know, I can do it tomorrow morning. And then when it rains, there is a way you feel like it's raining. You know, when it is hot, you feel like, oh, it's hot. When the boss is not in office, you're like, he's not in office. Let me tell you, we will have 1,000 reasons and 1,000 excuses. But I think we know already that by now, excuses and success do not dwell in the same statement. For as long as you have excuses, I want you to know your journey, that excuses upon excuses equals to failure and equals to you being a failure. Not just failure as a word, but you being a failure. Because then you're giving so many reasons, and let me tell you, your reasons are valid. They are so valid. Like if you really explained, you came to me and explained your reasons, I would understand. You are no fun. I would understand, like it rained. Like, didn't I see the road on which you stay is very slippery. Even borders fall all the time. It is very understandable. Like, it would be very understandable getting jobs in Kampala or getting jobs in this city is the hardest thing. Like, it is so hard. No one is giving a job in this city. Like, your excuse is valid. Like, the economy is so bad. Who does not see the economy? I can't come to work because the fuel prices are so high. Like, it is understandable. Understand what? But you know what is not understandable? As an employer, I am looking for value. And if you cannot give me that value, someone else is going to give me that value. So it's only a matter of time. I can only be patient about your excuses for a certain period of time. But a time is going to come when I will smile, but I will tell you, this is the end of the road between you and I. And guess what? Next day there will be someone who is doing something better than you did. Your excuses were valid, okay? It was raining. But let me tell you, people go to work when it rains. And they get there on time. We are used to a simple life. And I'm not saying that we are supposed to live a hard life. You know, I'm advocating for hard life. No, I'm not advocating for a hard life. But you know what? I know that things have to get hard before they become simple. They have to get hard before they become simple. And that is my pain. Because if we start with the simplicity, then we are creating hardship. I want us to move together. If you start with the simplicity, just like the children in this age and era, we are creating a lot of simplicity. But again, as we create the simplicity, we are creating a harder life for them. Because we have to be able to sustain them. For as long as we are giving them a simple life, we have to sustain them. Sustain them after campus, sustain them when they get married, or sustain them when they even marry. Make sure that you have a house your boy will stay in and marry in. And make sure that you can feed his family. Make sure you can pay his hospital bills. Why? Because you created an ice cream kind of life, and because you created a kind of life where they have to be taken into a car. You know, they have to go to school in a car. Going to school in a car is not a problem. But there is an age that comes when your child has to learn to move alone. When they have to learn to be independent. An age has to come when you have all the investments and the insurances and the assets, but you're telling them that, you know what, man up, find a house and pay it and stay in that house so that I can see how you can survive in this life. We create the hard life so we endure the hard life so we can have a simpler life. The reason as to why some of us have created a simpler life is because we had a hard life. And part of the motivation of not backsliding is when you look at where you come from, you're like, no, I don't want to go back. No, not for any reason. So, as you think about, some of us, when we think about procrastinating, then you're thinking about going back to being broke. And you're saying, no, I will do this hard work right now. You get it? I will do it now. I will do now what needs to be done now. I will not push it into tomorrow. But some of us are creating a soft life. I know I'm all for the soft life. But we will celebrate soft life. A time is going to come when we are called the soft lifers. A time is going to come when we say in March, we have a vacation in Dubai. We have all of you subscribing and we are all going to Dubai. We'll be living a simple life, but right now, hustle. Right now, fungiza. Right now, get your hands dirty. Think. Have sleepless nights. Mold that idea. Go pitch that idea. Okay? Make sure that you know who you are serving. Make sure, yes, intentionally be hard on yourself so that when you are older, you don't go. Let me tell you, do you know what it means to take your CV to a place looking for a job when you are 50 years old? 50 years old? Do you know what that looks like? You are meeting a receptionist who is 19 years old. And you are 50 years old and you are looking for a job. No. At 50 years old, if you are still in the employment sector, you are being headhunted. Headhunted. Like a company knows in Nairobi that there is someone called Ivan in Uganda, and this is the value they are giving us. We are giving them full board. Everything that they need in life just to make sure that they cross over into our company. And they are crossing over at a top management level. Not just at any level. Headhunted is the word. Where you come and you have your price and you look at them in the eye, tell them your price, and if they're not meeting it, you are on the plane back to your country. And it's not a loss. Because you have created a better life for yourself. That even when you are in employment, you have farms, you have businesses, you have things that are going on for you. But what kind of life do you dream about? Because when we talk about consistency, number one, for you to be consistent, you have to know your why. And you have to revisit your why every day. Why do you want a good life? Why are you doing that particular business? Are you doing it because your mother did it and you inherited it from your mother? Are you doing it because it's the only thing that is available? Why are you doing it? Because if your why is weak, your consistency is going to be shaky. Very shaky. Do something that you don't like, just like you can be inconsistent when eating food that you don't like. Wanji? You can be inconsistent, like eating food that you don't like. They cook it for lunch, for breakfast, lunch, and supper. You will choose one meal. You'll be like, maybe because I don't want to die, I will eat lunch. And then I will skip supper, and then I'll drink water, or I'll take tea or something like that. Why? Because you don't like it. So being inconsistent, but let people give you the food that you want. In one night, you will have put on 10 kgs. Like you eat it with all the comfort. In the morning, have you ever woken up when you are craving something, or you're just looking forward to something? You know what you're going to have for breakfast, but you know it's so good. Huh? And you just can't wait. You wake up and you even start salivating in bed before you even brush and bathe. So if that was the kind of food, what kind of level of consistency would you have? My friend, you would show up on the table. You'll be the first one. And then, I remember when I was pregnant. When it came to food, my friend, I would not need a whistle, not a bell. I would not need any motivation. I would need nothing. But like I would even look at the food lined up, and in my heart I would be not contented that I'm going to get satisfied. I would feel like half the time I'm going to cry, but the food is there. But I would feel like I'm not going to be satisfied. And Tim knew me. He'd tell me, you're going to be satisfied. You're even going to leave that food on the plate. And I would be like, it's just, I don't want anyone on the line before I am on the line. Like seriously, even when I would go for workshops, even when I would travel, out of the country to go, like I would remember each time I would be the first on the line. And I would make sure that I pick the things that I need, and I will go back for the second plate before I finish the first plate, like my appetite. So that level of consistency is because, there were hormones all over the place demanding that I eat certain things, okay? Now, if you do what you like, what you love, that is why amongst, and when it comes to the journal, I've actually that journal, the way I've arranged it, I've arranged the 6 pillars of wealth creation. Because if you come into the mentorship, we're talking about wealth creation. Even in Hold My Hand, we're talking about wealth creation. But in the mentorship, it's so particular to what you are going to do. And one of them is work. One pillar of the wealth creation is work. But again, I link work to finding your purpose and finding your passion. Because if you keep doing the things that you don't love, you wake up and you are demotivated. And it's of recent that I read somewhere that the reason as to why older people tend to have more heart attacks around 5 and 6 a.m. is because they're afraid to go to work. Like at that time, no. How many of you are here and you take kids to school every day, and how you are afraid of waking up every day? I don't know if there are people in my boat. My friend, you wake up, you dress someone, and they will show you that one socks will be off by the time you're getting out of the door. And they will show you the bag is somewhere, either in the bathroom, they took it to the bathroom, they will show you they are seated under the dining, like they are not going to school that day. And getting into the car will be a tug of war. Kwata magulu, kwate mikono. Get into the car. Like we will see other things after we are there. It's a hassle. So whenever I wake up, I'm only thinking, you know what? I need my quiet time before I think about the hustle and bustle of the day. And then I can give myself like 30 minutes. But after 30 minutes, I'm thinking, I am tired before I start my routine. I don't know who else has faced that, but I'm being real. I am tired before I start my day. Because in my mind, I already know what's going to face me. Now, until they're at school and I'm at office, that is when I recollect myself and I'm like, you know what now? I need to be able to reorganize my day and see how I can run. But it's so easy for you to be consistent at something that you love. Okay? So whatever you do, if it's in hair, if it's in selling insurance, like the group that we had in the first place, if it's about tailoring, if you need to fall in love with it, okay, go ahead, study it, research it, make it a part of your life. Have you ever studied something so hard that you become it? Like you breathe it. Even when people are talking about politics, you find a way of bringing your conversation in politics. I don't know if you people have seen that. That you have become one with that something. And it's so easy for you to be consistent at that because you love it. So I want you to remember your why. If it's so hard for you to be consistent at saving, I want you to remember, after you have saved that money, why are you saving that money? That your children will go to school. That even when something happens to you today, your children will have a good future. So whenever you think about their future, you will save that money. Whenever you think about, your child getting out of school and they don't know who to ask school fees from, you will say, you know what, I need an insurance policy. And I'm going to be very prompt at paying this insurance policy. Okay? Why? Because you have your why. Okay? So that means that every single day of your life, you are face to face with your why. Face to face with your. And your why will scream louder. If you are face to face with them, when the kid gets sick, you know they have to be treated. When they don't have what they ask for ice cream and you can't afford it, then you're like, I need to work harder. Instead of saying, for us we didn't eat ice cream, so you can't be asking for ice cream, or these kids are too demanding. You're like, you know what? It's possible they may not eat ice cream the whole week, but during the weekend I will give them a treat. Okay? And so you budget yourself, but you know your why. Even when you go, let me tell you, I have seen some men, and I honor men that love their families and are responsible for their families. I honor them with everything inside of me. To the extent, I know back, there's some time back, when I was even still at campus. I went to campus when I was a lot older. It wasn't the younger me. So I remember sometimes I used to take a taxi, and I would sit with this man, because it used to be a night taxi. I would sit with these men that are coming from work, and I know that for sure some of them would have loved to have a polythene bag to carry milk and maybe bread or something at home. But maybe that day things just refused. And they would even be speaking to themselves. Like literally speaking loud. I don't know what I'm going to do. When they ask for something to eat, I don't know what I'm going to literally. And I remember on more than 5 occasions, I got the money that was remaining in my bag. And I would tell that man, go buy bread and milk and take to your children. And the man would look at me in disbelief. And they were, because at that time, I was much older, but again, because of the situation, I was very tiny and so I would look like a young girl. And I think they would look at this young girl that is being so reasonable and maybe reading their mind. And I would be like, you know what? You can never know what that 10,000 would do in that man's life. It's possible that it's going to be lunch for the next 2 days. And I learned not to belittle money. Like you would say 1,000. Let me tell you, 1,000 to an askari, that can be lunch for the family. So because they are consumed with the why, that is why you will find a man that is carrying a load that is heavier than him in the market. Because of his why. He knows he has children, they have to go back to school. He has been keeping that school fees, but the school fees has not yet gotten to the amount that he wants. And he will carry a load that is bigger than him. And he will work extra time. You think people work extra time just in offices? Downtown people work extra time. If they could have left work at around 5 or 6, they say, you know what? Between now and midnight, I will have carried more loads. And maybe that will be more 10,000 in my bag. What will 10,000 do for me? Okay? So I want you to carry your why everywhere you go. I want you to revisit it. I want you to think about it, because it's the only thing that is going to keep you accountable, and it's the only thing that is going to keep you consistent with your determination, with your commitment, with your giving value, and with you being prompt and timely, and you managing your finances. Your why is going to make you consistent everywhere you go. And I'm not saying that consistency is going to be perfect, because we will never wait for perfection, okay? That is why it has to be progress over perfection, for as long as you are moving in the right direction. Because one of the last things that I want to talk about in this session, that in case you fall off the wagon, make sure that you catch the wagon. Okay? Even when it has left you, make sure that you run and catch the wagon and jump back onto the wagon and say, I've been inconsistent, because storms are going to come. Times are going to change. Okay? And because you have set your routine, things are going to come and destabilize your routine. Okay? When people get into families, sometimes they're overwhelmed. Maybe they just didn't know how to. They were single, they had their lives organized, and all of a sudden they get into a relationship, a serious or marriage, and everything turns upside down. So where there was consistency, now you're trying to catch up on everything and trying to create another system altogether. Children come in, they destabilize you. A new boss comes in, stabilize you. So many things are going to destabilize us and take us away from being consistent. But that does not mean that if you find that, oh, 2 weeks, 2 weeks have gone by and I've not done what I promised I would do. That does not mean that you throw in a towel or you just beat yourself up and say, you know what, I am the worst person. I don't think I will ever be even successful. I think this is it for me and nothing is going to happen. No. Wake up the following morning and make sure that you go back and do what you used to do, okay? Even if you lose track on what? The festive seasons have a way of taking us away from either exercising or going to gym or even weight loss journeys, doing, those diets and what. But even if you fall off the wagon for a full month, when you look back and you look at yourself and you're like, you know what, this is time, I could have achieved this much. You even feel bad. But the next day, make sure that you go to the gym, start working out, or start skipping a rope, or start your diet again. Make sure that you jump back onto the wagon. And that was the very last one that I wanted us to talk about. So number 1 was know your why and follow your why. Number 2, make sure that you choose your battles or choose what to do. Okay? Coach Fifi usually says, plan, 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 plan. Okay? And we've called her Mrs. Plan, plan. But let me tell you, if you do not plan, then you have planned to fail. We do not get what we deserve in life. We get what we decide. We do not get what we deserve. We get what? So if you say, oh, I deserve better. If you say you deserve better and you're hoping that better is going to come from other people, forget about it. If you say you deserve better and you hope that that better is going to come from your boyfriend, please let it go. Agree in peace that that deserving is never going to come. Because they're not mind readers. They're not going to say, she deserves this, so let me give it to them. If you say, I deserve better, and you think your wife is going to give that better, or your girlfriend, then forget about it. We don't get what we deserve in life. We get what we decide. So decide and say, I am planning. And that is why the mentorship journal and planner has only top 3 priorities for the day. Because sometimes we have a to-do list. How many of us made a to-do list today? How many things were on your to-do list? About 10. Did you do all of them? You see? And by the way, I have been down that road, like for the longest time. You write, you have good intentions while you're writing them. You even feel like they're all going to be completed by the day, by the time the day comes to an end. You write them and you feel enthusiastic, you're going to finish them. By the time the day ends, you go back to tick and you tick 1. Or you even tick 2. If really God has helped you, you tick 2. So that is why I said, you know what? I don't need to write 10 things. I can write them as tasks, okay? That if I finish my top 3, now my top 3 don't have to be that huge and mega and time consuming. By the way, my top 3 can be as simple as making a call to someone. And for me, it's very important. That call is very important, okay? I'm like, if I do these 3, and let me tell you, chances are, before I did that, I used to do all the 10 or 12 or 15, and then I would end up doing 1 or even doing nothing. Have you ever gotten to the end of the day and you tick nothing out of what you have written? Like seriously, the day has gone and you feel it has not been a bad day, but you have not done what you promised you would do. Being consistent is when you promise yourself to do something, then you go back and actually do it, or even start on it. Remember, we said you don't have to be perfect, but start somewhere. So choose and say, you know what, I am going to dwell and I am going to focus on these 3. And if I can complete them by 1 p.m., then I have enough time to even handle some of the tasks. And let me tell you, the moment your confidence is looped into delivery and being able to achieve, you realize you can achieve more. Have you ever achieved one thing and it led you to another and it led you to another? Like you feel like, I can do this. If I did that, okay? You deliver a report and that very day you feel like you're on top of the world. You can do like 3 more reports. But you have struggling for the whole month. You had a whole month. And have you ever read at the end of the term or the semester, you do an exam and you feel like, bring everything else, bring. But the whole term, you have not been reading. You've just been waiting for last minute, okay? So I want us to be able to limit, calm down. Don't program so many things. Being busy is not an achievement. It's not. Half the time we are busy but doing nothing. Then we become busybodies. And being busy is not a trending thing. Have you seen people that find comfort in saying they're busy? Oh, I am busy. Oh, my schedule is full. They even don't know what a schedule is. No, like seriously, if you ask them, they don't know what a schedule is. But because it's a word that has been thrown around so many times, oh, my schedule is tight. Oh, I am so tight these days. Tight doing what? Tell them to mention what is making them tight. You just tell them, prompt them. Number 1, you will find they are doing a lot of nothingness. They're actually not tight. There are people who are genuinely tight. Guys, there are people who are genuinely with tight schedules. They are there. But guess what? Do you know those people don't throw around the statement of my schedule is very busy? Half the time they will tell you, if you're suggesting something, they will say, let me see, but I think I can make some time. They will not throw the, I am too busy. My schedule is very tight. No. Successful people and busy people, they will never say they're busy. They will tell you whether they can create the time or they will not create the time. Because they will know when to turn it down and when not to turn it down. But most of the times we turn down good things. Not because we are busy, but because we are busybodies. I want us to reevaluate, okay? We are not here to be pampered. We are here to say the truth. So the truth can set us free. So the moment you go back and say, I've been saying I am busy. What exactly am I busy doing? You go back and write and say, what is making me busy? You will find that procrastination is making you busy. Yeah, procrastination, by the way, it occupies your brain. Procrastination is a time waster because half the time you're saying, I will do it tomorrow, your brain thinks that you are busy doing something, and yet you are not busy doing anything. Okay? But because, and this is what happens, self-sabotage, I went back and had to really do a lot of reading and research about self-sabotage, and I actually discovered that there's nothing called self-sabotage. Our brains read it as protecting us. For example, you want to do exercises, okay? But your body, your spirit, your soul wants to do the exercises. Your body, on the other hand, feels doing exercise is going to be painful. So, it just hinders you and delays you and says no. So, that means your body is incongruent. It's not in alignment. You have 2 personas in you that are all believing that what they're believing is right. While your mind is believing that exercise is helpful and you're going to tone down and you're going to look nice, your body feels like this is going to be so tiring and very uncomfortable, and I just don't want to get into the discomfort of it. So guess what? Both your body parts are right. In their regard, they are right. They are not sabotaging anything. They are protecting you and preserving you. So that is when, number 3, if you want to be consistent, you have to silence your inner critique and your inner voices. And be able to choose what is right over what is comfortable. Be able to choose what is right to do in that moment. and say that, you know what, yes, I know it's uncomfortable, but this is what I need to do in order to get to B. This is what I need to do in order to be successful. This is what I need to do. That is why in attitude we say, how you change your attitude, you speak to your mind. Because your mind is the hardest thing. It does not listen. Your mind is big-headed. So you have to speak to it. And how I speak to my mind, I don't just speak to it lovingly. Oh, my mind, please, can you align so that we do this? No. I even knock my head. Say, come back into alignment. Because sometimes, like, seriously, it's something that is benefiting you, but your own body does not want to do it. That is why in the mentorship we have a slogan that says, do it afraid. That even when you are so fearful, because the fear keeps you in not doing whatever is causing discomfort. And we say that if you're comfortable, there is no growth. If you're comfortable, there is no success. If you're comfortable, there is no... Every one of us would have been in bed raising their legs. I think that is their most comfortable position. I don't know about... As in just, you know, having fun. No program. Just imagine you wake up. You know what? I'm so excited about tomorrow because there is no school. You know? I would be like, whew. It's going to be a good morning, definitely. You get what? But because I know it's important for them to go to school, even when it's uncomfortable, they have to. At some point, one of them was showing discomfort, and I was like, yeah, the moment it is uncomfortable, that is when you even gain more. So we will carry you, we will put you, even if we have to put you in the boot, we will put you in the boot, but you have to go. Because we have to also teach our children resilience. It's not that now I wake up, you know, and let me tell you, kids are so wise these days. At 4 years, they can tell you they have a headache in the morning. Ariella will tell you, Mommy, I feel a headache. And they will even tell you, because her worst pain has ever been an ear infection. Now, she will even fake an ear infection. She will even tell you, my ear is paining. And they will even open their mouth to cry. And then I will tell, no, don't even dare. Don't dare, because I'm not going to listen to you. With an ear paining or a tooth paining or a head paining, you're going to school. Okay? But if we give them everything, like, oh, I want soda, and then you fill the fridge with soda. No, I fill the fridge with juice that has honey in it and ginger. Hey, we are in cold seasons. The colds are everywhere. Flu is everywhere. Now I start giving you soda. And then I start taking money to the doctors. No, every time you open the fridge, you will find it on the low temperature, and then you will find juice in the fridge. So let's see if you don't want to drink. If you don't take juice, you take water. Not because we want to give them a bad life, but we're teaching them resilience, okay? Because comfort, for so many of us, we long and we yearn for comfort, but comfort never grows us, okay? So, number 2, we said choose your battles. Make sure that you choose your priorities very well. And do not over-engage in your priorities, but make sure that your priorities are planned out. Because some of us also, we have this thing, that's not my priority. That's not priority. Although we make a cliche out of everything. That's not my priority. That's not amongst my priorities. But then we ask you, what are your priorities? You don't know them. And the best priorities is when you get them out of your mind and write them down. Those are the best priorities. Because then, like, you have a marking guide that you can go back and look and say, you know what? I have unfinished business. So, I just want us to rush through quickly. The last one we talked about jumping back on the wagon. Get back on the wagon. Whenever consistency proves to be so hard, make sure that you are getting back on the wagon, okay? We talked about ignoring your feelings and then being able to silence your inner critic, right? And we said the mind is the hardest thing to align. But again, it has to be aligned by force, okay? Because this is what happens. You will never get to be a failure in life, and then you look back and you're like, Kale, my mind failed me. If it was that simple, then we would never have worked hard, okay? So that's why I'm saying that even when your mind is saying something different, even when your mind would prefer to just, you know what, when the relationship has just started, even going to work is a problem. You feel instead of going to work, you should go to your boyfriend's place. And most of the times, by the way, for the nice men also, they also feel they want the connection. Apart from the bad boys. The bad boys half the time are running away from you. Half the time they're like, oh, time to go to work. Oh, I've survived. And then when you come, they're like, oh, she's back. But for the good boys, the nice ones, but they also long for the connection. You will tell that a nice boy has fallen in love when they start being absent from work. When they start not putting in enough effort. And then you'll be like, I know that because I have so many of them, I will look at them and I'm like, you have fallen in love. And then they'll be like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, no, how sluggish and how slow you are and how you're under, productive, you have clearly fallen in love. But fall in love and still be productive. So, where no one is going to cut you some slack. Pull up your sleeves and deliver. In love or not. And some people throw the ball or drop the ball when they're heartbroken. And then you can tell. And you can tell that, this one for this period. And I can tell. And I'm like, for the past 5 months. And sometimes I tell them, maybe when they find me, I'm getting out of the car and they're saying hi. And then I start giving them their audit. And I'm like, but for the past 5 months, I don't understand you. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're under-delivering. Your performance is not the same. You're not enthusiastic about work. You just come to linger around. And half the time you think, because I am not in your space, you think I don't know. And then they start giving you all the reasons. Kakati, this happened and this happened. It's like, yeah, but if I have noticed, that means everyone has noticed. So can you pull up? We need the best version of you. So I know different situations come, but being consistent. Let me tell you, consistency, being consistent, it pays off. It pays off. Even with your, if you have an employer, if you're consistent, it pays off. Because when they think about any kind of promotion, they'll be like, you know what, so-and-so is a self-starter, they're self-driven, they keep working, they go above and beyond. And I would want to work with such a person any day. So-and-so is loyal to their commitment. I want to work with such a person any day, okay? So I want us to be able to get in the habit of aligning. Okay? Yes, let's get some questions. I know that we are stuck in different places. Maybe it's not about being consistent, but you are stuck in a certain, in a certain area of your life. And you would love us to dissect or even talk about that particular area, highlight on a few things, how you can do, what you can do, and how you can go about it. Let's go into that. Where are you stuck?
Okay, for some of us who have not yet started their businesses, how do you get to know that this is the right business for me to start?
Okay.
And in case you're to start, what are the things that you're supposed to look at for you to go ahead?
Okay. She's looking to open a business, not yet opened a business, but she's looking to open a business. And she's thinking, what are those things that you should be able to think about? Now, first, you don't do a business because everyone is doing a business. Okay? That means you have to go back to what we started with, self-awareness. What are my interests? What do I look at? Let me tell you, even in the arena of business, when you look at, there are people who look at children's shoes, and they're like, oh my God, I want to sell children's shoes all my life. I wouldn't mind selecting children's shoes. Amen. Coach Vero here. She's interested in kids' dresses. I didn't know people would have niches in kids' dresses, but apparently that's she was. So it goes back to, number one, what are you passionate about? Okay? Because if you build a business that revolves around your passion, chances are it's going to live and it's going to flourish. Because you don't need anyone to push you. You like it, you love what you're doing. Okay? Even if you would do it for a hobby. Have you seen people who plant flowers as a hobby? Just tell me if that person turned it into a business. They would know every name of the flower. They will know where this flower flourishes more. They will tell you this is a one for bathroom. They will tell you this one is for office. They will tell you this one needs a lot more care. Why? Because they are passionate about it. Have you seen people that cook? And how passionate they are? And how even when they are testing their own food, it just feels like, oh my God. So they are very passionate about it. And some of them started as maybe doctors, or maybe they started as, they started another business until they learned that, by the way, I love cooking. Even if I'm just cooking for myself, I love doing it with a lot of extra care. So when they took it on as a passion, it actually became a business. I know of someone, I think we know of a Rogers, who is doing keto meals. And from keto meals, right now she has an office where people can be admitted for weight loss. Like he can admit you like a hospital for a full month. You go through that weight loss, you attain the goals that you want, and then you go back, you go your way. And she has a fully fledged kitchen where she has demo meals for keto, and then she has Roger's Bites, where she delivers food to different offices. He resigned and his wife thought he was mad. And he started food business and keto in Uganda, where no one, as in most people didn't know about keto dieting. And he has made us understand what that is. Now that is one example out of the so many. We have the cooking nuns. I don't know if you've seen her on Instagram. It means originally from the nursing background, but her passion is in cooking. And right now she's a cooking content creator. And she's having all these gigs, or people coming to her and wanting to, to influence for their brands. And she's making more money than she would have made in the nursing profession. But she's making more money doing what she loves and cooking for her family. And then there is one that surprised me recently. She is a content creator for babies' food here in Uganda. So the moment you do something that you love, that you are passionate about, and ask yourself, what is your passion? Okay? So with those things, you can never fail. Definitely, capital mobilization, that is a must. You can't start a business. There are certain businesses that can start without money, but there are certain businesses that cannot start without money. And then capital mobilization and knowing maybe, do I need a venue, or I can actually do it as a mobile thing or as an online thing. These days we have more options. Back then it used to be set up a shop, sit in a shop, location. Right now, my friend, online is doing it. Someone will even create something and say, I only deliver. And they have very good merchandise. They have a store at their home. They buy, store, and then things are going out at a very terrific speed. Okay? They're doing online business. So that means you have more options. Okay? And then that means business is a learning profile. That means when you start, you get to know, okay, I have to tweak, I have to adjust, I have to make sure that I reinvest, I have to make sure that I downsize. Sometimes, just like I usually say, success is not a linear line, that every time you have to go up. Sometimes in business, you have to step back 10 steps. You're like, you know what? I need to look at this critically. I think I wrongly positioned myself, and I need to reposition myself, or I need to rebrand. You get it? Or relaunch my product. So all that is involved in business, but find your passion, find your purpose, attach it to what people need, because that's how they're going to buy it. And then go into more capital mobilization and thinking about everything else. Okay?
I'm good at helping my siblings back at home, but sometimes, even when I have helped, and for them they are in position, probably my parents they're in position whereby they have something and me, I'm lacking this way, they can't help.
Okay.
So sometimes I be in that confusion. Should I continue helping, or I just give up?
Okay. Now, that is so direct, and by the way, that can be misread when you tell someone, stop helping. And let me tell you, some people can't help it. They are natural helpers. Like, they come to rescue every time. They are like an ambulance that is on standby every time. Even when you preach to them that don't help, you will be writing on water. Because always, like, it's a natural thing inside of them, the empathy that they carry, and it's a very good thing. But one thing I will tell you that will be so helpful, make sure that you help from your saucer. Do not help from your cup. Let your cup be filled. In other words, allow yourself to have enough before you can be able to extend. Because if you're depleted, this is what happens. You start resenting the people that you help. And yet you are supposed to celebrate the people that you help. You're supposed to have to feel a sense of satisfaction. After helping someone, even when they don't help you, you feel like, you know what, I did the right thing anyway. And if you're even a Christian, you feel like, you know what, I did it for God and maybe God will reward me. I'm not going to look for my reward from people, because a person changes, okay? A person can change. Today they can be happy about what you did, and then tomorrow they tell you, what, you gave me one chameleon only, 1 chameleon. Like, is that even big enough to go talking about it that you gave me 1 million shillings? Let me tell you, a human being will disappoint you, okay? But God will never disappoint you. So instead of having the resentment, I want you to be able to maximize your capacity. Make sure that you are full. That is what I call being deliberately selfish. Not selfish that you can't help, but you're saying, you know what, I want to help from the fullness of my cup. So everything that is overflowing on the saucer, then everyone else can take. I can jump to your rescue. I can take someone to school. I can be able to, you know, fundraise for someone if they are sick. I can be able to do all these things, contribute on someone's rent. I can be able to do that, but not contribute to someone's rent, and then I go back and I'm evicted out of my own house. Make sure your full year is paid, or 6 months ahead are paid. You get it? As in, fill yourself. Do not buy another person a cloth and then you come back to torn clothes. And then you come back to saying, now I don't have anything to put on. Okay? And then you said, I helped so and so. That comes because of resentment. That means that we were not ready when we opened our hands. So you have to make sure that your needs are not on the back burner. You don't forget about yourself. Your needs should be your priority, that you are filled to capacity, and then you help. Then you help with a lot, because we're supposed to give with a cheerful heart, right? We give with a cheerful heart. And that is why they say that when you're giving, your right hand should never know what your left hand did. As in, it should not be a matter of going to social media and saying that, you know what, I gave so and so this and this. Okay? Because then you get validation and cheering and claps from human beings. And that is it. Okay? So, you have a good heart. But people can easily take advantage of a good heart. And then they will crush it down. So protect your heart. It doesn't mean that don't give, but give out of the fullness of your cup. When your cup is empty, make sure that you fill it up. When it overflows, open your hands and give to as many people as you can. Okay? Because then next time you give, you will be happy that you're giving. But you're not giving and you're thinking, she might do exactly what the other one did, you know? And then I might get to a time of need and then ask for help. And you know, it's very hard for you to ask for help. If you're a helper, it's very hard for you to ask for help. You will even go to the last minute until the worst comes to the worst. That is when you can even whisper to someone, you know, I don't have food. And then that person maybe will tell you, I don't know what to do for you, because also things are not easy. But the person that is saying things are not easy has like 5 million in what? In the account. People do that. There are people who are naturally not bothered. Like someone can mention, I am hungry and I've been hungry for the past 3 days, and they will say, let me pray for you. Let me hope that God can bring someone. Let me hope God can bring someone that can help you. God cares. Don't lose hope. And then guess what? They will go and pay for a meal of 200,000 or 100,000 and sit and eat comfortably without thinking about anything. And yet for you, you cannot eat something if you know. For example, I would not eat anything if I knew that my brother was going to do exams back then before I could even afford it, and yet I didn't help out. Like, I would blame myself. I would feel like I am the worst person on earth. To the extent there's a time my sister was kidnapped. There were so many stories around it, and I did not eat the whole time. I would imagine my sister in a corner somewhere without food, and I was like, you know what? Whether it is to look for her with the CIDs and all the police, I am not eating until my sister is discovered. There are people who go out of their way like that, but again, I know us, we are not good at begging. So my heart is happy that I give, not because I have too much, but I am happy that I've opened my heart to give. So I don't resent anyone. Okay? I hope it works for you. But it has worked for me.
My question is about self-reliance. So, and then branding. If I want to do to analyze myself and align myself, what really key points do I have to pick out?
You are already a brand. Sorry to say to you, to break the news to you. You know, these days, I mean, for as long as you have a page somewhere, for as long as you have a certain message, an agenda that you push out, whether you're selling this or you're selling kids' clothes or you're selling insurance or you're selling, you know, what you do is to be able to be an authority in whatever you are dealing in. For example, if you're dealing in children's shoes, okay, you should be an expert that you can even be interviewed on CNA about children's shoes. Let me tell you, people have angles. Someone can be interviewed about children's shoes and they will speak about the predicament of the importance of having shoes to school-going children until you're like, you know what, let me tell you, everything is possible in this world. Everything is possible. I have seen people that have been interviewed about certain things and I'm like, is that even a thing? But the passion with which they are speaking makes it a thing. To the extent that I also subscribe to it. Because like I am sold, you have preached to me and now I'm converted, okay? So now become an authority by being intentional. For example, you can say, you know what, I'm going to sell insurance. And you go to sell insurance because you're looking for a job and survival. So when you get into insurance, they have those programs, training, but you can go an extra mile and say, I want to be a certified insurer. Okay? Or I want to be an expert in money matters. Now, you have become an authority. That you will become a consultant. People will start coming to you, even when you put out the post, so when you speak, someone will know that, by the way, this person has a background in this, and they have credible information, and I need that information in order for me to get to the next level of my life. Okay? So, being a brand, it's not that, oh, a day comes and, we have to declare you a brand. That starting today, you know, you have been sworn in, now you're a brand. No, it's not going to happen. You are already a brand. But the thing is, you are an intentional brand. Like, you are not yet intentional. But the day you become intentional, let me tell you, I have seen people branding themselves as customer care service, experts. And they will speak about customer service, even the things that you didn't think about. Okay? That means they have gone an extra mile. And some people, when they find that they're passionate about something, they even go back to school for it. Or they go and get credentials for it, just to back up the knowledge that they have in that particular arena. Okay? But if you want to be a brand right now, you are a brand. Okay? So be a master at something. Okay? Be credible at something. And be known for something. All of us in this place, be known for something. Let someone know that Hajat, when it comes to marriage, she loves thriving marriages. Okay? And she will do anything. That means she's going to read. She will even subscribe to people who talk about thriving marriages. She will dream about thriving marriages. Whenever she goes to a space, she will feel like talking to other guys about. She even said, if you come into her circles and you're not married, you will marry immediately. She will make you love marriage. As in, she is known for something, okay? And some of us are known for something, but again, we are not masters at that particular thing. Like, we have half-baked information. So we give people stomach aches. Okay. Yes, yeah, yes, please.
So what we've talked about, consistency. For most people, it looks like I have to do this thing. As we've said, yeah, it's something you have to do over and over again. But then again, with consistency, you might do the same thing that you've been doing, but in a different way.
Yes.
Because you keep checking yourself. It is with consistency that we grow.
Yes.
You get to know that this angle is not working. I need to try out this.
Yes.
And it's consistency that also builds trust in
Yes.
other people.
Yes.
The more someone sees you
Doing something.
yes, the more they'll try to give you the authority, the more they'll trust you, the more they will want to associate with you.
Yes.
because I've seen it with myself. There are times that I finish doing something, you'll get a lot of people coming to you seeking for help in regards with what you're talking about. But the moment you stop, people also forget.
Yeah.
Like you're forgotten.
That's true.
They try to go to something else. And if we are so many people doing the same things, if today I come and tell people I'm available in case you need me, and then for the next 5 months,
I'm not
available. And yet someone who's doing the same thing as I am has been available for 3 months, they're going to move on to this person,
yes,
and they're going to forget me.
That's true.
And that is what we mostly do when you see online businesses, yeah? Someone is going to wake up today, they're going to post their business, and then for the next 3 weeks, they will forget. Someone is going to forget that you deal in shoes.
Yeah.
But if you do it over and over again, someone said it, even when you don't feel like doing it, you do it, and before you know it, it becomes a habit. Something that was a baggage for you before, something that looked like, this is really too much for me, becomes so easy that you find no hardship in doing it whatsoever.
That's very right.
Yeah, so that's what I just wanted to add on to consistency.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, our time is fast spent, ladies, and consistency, by the way, can look like you can decide to say that my consistency is not every day, especially like in posting. You can say it's every other day, or you can say it's every after a week, okay? Yeah, but there are certain things, habits that you must do every day if you want to be able to create a lifestyle out of it, especially the habits, okay? When it comes to marketing and selling and posting, that one you can create your own, tweak and adjust according to how you please. But let me tell you, people forget, and I don't want people to forget about you. Even at work, do you know that you can be forgotten at work? Like you used to be the one who goes around, speaks to people, you deliver, you do what, and all of a sudden, you just come and keep quiet, and people forget that you're around. Even when they're talking about promotions, they don't know so-and-so is around. Because it's not about being a noisemaker, but being relevant and being readily available when you're needed to actually be readily available. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming in. And for those that have been online together with us, thank you so much for joining us. Those on Spirit TV, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, we keep answering these questions, and we will get questions from TV and online and be able to answer them as well. We are growing together. We are not leaving you behind. And we want you to be a part of this beautiful family, to grow your ambition, to change your productivity, to enhance it, and to make sure that the results that we get, we all know the results that we want to get. We want to be successful, and we want to be significant, and that is what we are going to do. But while we do that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take care of ourselves. Love you, and from us to you is a bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Bahati comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 p.m. here on Spirit TV. Bahati, bringing you knowledge, wisdom, financial and personal growth, better relationships leading to your transformation and elevation.
Spirit TV, a place for you.
Are you ready to partake? This March 2023, UG Gospel Fest presents the first ever Ugandan Gospel Music Festival on Friday, March 17th, 2023 at Hockey Grounds, Lugogo.